got the mat down. Let's take a look at it. I realize it's really hard to see in the video, but the mat's finished. It's nice and flat. You know, I've got the plywood around the edges and I'm ready to screed and put the thinset down. I've mixed up some thinset in the bucket, and you can see this board right here, and it's got a consistent 1/4 inch gap underneath it. And I'll slide that board left and right, you know, back and forth, you know, to kind of vibrate the top of the thinset to make sure that the thinset is all in the same plane and it's a nice, flat, smooth surface for the laminate flooring. I went ahead and used the multimeter, you know, once I had put the electrical contacts, you know, through the wall after the mat was down. I once again checked it to make sure that we didn't break any of the wires and everything's good to go. So that's basically all there is to putting down the Radiant, you know, floor mat. You know, you just have to, you know, you just have to follow the instructions. Take your time, make sure that you smooth out the mat into the thinset, and use that multimeter to make sure that you didn't break the wire and you're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and coat it with the thinset now, and in a couple of days after that's cured, I'm going to be ready to put in the laminate flooring. Okay, it's another day. I, you know, put the thinset down for on top of the mat, and really the last step for installing this mat is you have to put a temperature probe on top of the floor, on top of the mat and on top of the thinset, but below the floor, and I want to show it to you. So the probe is right there, right in the center of the frame, and the instructions say to mount it at least 12 inches away from the edge of the mat, which it is, it's about 14 inches. And that little tag there tells you to check the resistance, really important. It's got to be between a certain temperature when you test it. And this just goes back up to the thermostat. And it's really, really important. So don't forget to put in this probe. I also want to show you another really neat device that if you're going to put in one of these floor mats from New Heat, you should get another little tool that you can purchase, and boy, is it worth it. Check this out. This is a really neat sensor that you connect the two leads and the center cable, the outside cable into these slots at the bottom of this device, and it's got an on and off switch in the back, and you'll notice I'm going to turn it on. You may have heard that little tone. So that tells you that it came on, but there's two little lights here, and if no lights come on, and if you don't hear a beeping sound, that's a good thing. That tells you that the mat is okay, that you've not compromised the cable, and this is worth its weight in gold. You absolutely want to use this. You know, you go ahead and connect it all up before you, actually right as soon as you put the mat down, before you put it in the thinset. And then you turn it on to make sure, as you're working on top of the mat, installing it, that everything's okay. Because you want to know early on if there's a problem. Very, very smart device here. Okay, the last step on putting in this mat really is just putting in the thermostat. Very, very savvy thermostat that I'm going to put here. All computerized. It's got a memory. You know, you can pre-program it. Really, really cool. So... And I also want to quickly show you the floor that I'm putting over the mat, to show you what the possibilities are. Take a look at this. So I showed you the probe, but here's the laminate floor that I'm putting down on top of the thinset and on top of the mat. It's a gorgeous laminate floor from Armstrong that resembles reclaimed wood. And this one is a natural oak. And I think it's just going to be gorgeous. So I'm only about a half an hour away from completing the job. And soon I'll have this probe covered. And everything's going to be great. We're going to be in great shape here. We're going to be ready to turn on the heat tomorrow. I'm Tim Carter for AskTheBuilder.com.
If you want to discover more home improvement tips, go to AskTheBuilder.com.